In June of 2024, the parents of two children, they hired a babysitter and they went out because somebody inside slightly opened the door for a man posing as a delivery person. The parents got to watch, through their Ring doorbell alert, three armed men make entry into their Colorado family home. Hey guys, retired Lieutenant Todd Heaton here with Humilitas First. The parents called the police and ultimately things worked out, but the first man through the door, he began yelling at his two accomplices in Spanish. Might these guys be migrants? Oh, maybe, maybe not. But here's a headline from February 2024 in this community. Look, my opinion is our nation should build a big wall, similar to the Vatican's big wall, but even more impressive. Walls coupled with good reasoned policies while they protect the people from unwelcome criminal aggressors. According to news reports, the teen girl was touched inappropriately. The house was ransacked, which netted the thieves jewelry and cash. Both the babysitter and one of the young boys was also shoved to the ground. What precautions can we take as parents to give the highest probability that this don't happen to us? You need to know what's going on wherever you live. If this becomes a thing, a trend, then you're going to need to adapt and overcome this problem. How? Well, in the first place, we're going to tell babysitters and we're going to tell our own children, don't open the door for anybody, period. Is it okay to communicate with somebody through the door? Yeah, because that's one strategy burglars use to determine if anybody's home, especially during the daytime. They'll knock on the front door, ring the doorbell to see if anybody answers. If nobody answers, then they assume nobody's home. They go around the back, jump the privacy fence, find one of your landscape bricks, and then they throw it through the back slider window, or they just kick the door in. So it's not a bad idea to go ahead and talk to them through that door. Or if you can talk to them through the Ring doorbell, do that. If they're claiming that they're delivering a package, they need you to sign for it. They need somebody to sign for it. Just tell them no. Leave it on the porch. If they don't want to do that, then they can take it back to wherever they came from. If they're legitimate, they're not going to argue with you. If they start arguing with you, if you're alone, you call the police. If you got somebody with you, you have them call the police. Then you tell them, and I've called the police and they're on the way. Currently, this is not a problem where I live. National and local crime trends, they can and they do change over time. So just pay attention to what's happening in your neck of the woods. Here's another incident that happened in April of 2023 in Connecticut.
I don't know if this is for you.
Really?
I don't know if this is for you.
Where is his right hand? Oh yeah, it's in his pocket on his gun. Just watch his body language. Where you going, little fella? You coming in the house? See the gun? This incident happened in June, a little after 8:30 p.m. You know, things like time of day, that's going to matter. If somebody's knocking on my door after dark, I'm just going to talk to them through the front door. I'm not opening the door. Why? Well, if they have wicked intentions, like, for instance, making an imminent deadly threat so they can get what they want, and they leave me no choice but to use a firearm to stop them, the fact that I made them break down that front door to bust in, well, that fact is going to stack in my favor on the next battlefield, which is the legal battlefield, especially in instances where deadly force has to be used. So I'm going to make them break the front door down. I'm not opening the door for them. If you are expecting a package that you know you're going to have to sign for, then track the package and just be there when it's expected to arrive. Otherwise, forget about it. Even if you miss a package that needed a signature, well, you can arrange to have it delivered again or pick it up wherever it was taken back to. Besides, the vast majority of packages, you don't need to sign for them. Out of hundreds and hundreds of packages, I could count on one hand the number of times I've had to sign for something. Also, it's not my job, nor the job of any family member, to help an incompetent driver who can't find the location where their packages are supposed to go. That's their business. That's not our business. Some would say, well, why not go ahead and answer the door when you're concealed carry, or even if you have a gun in your hand, but it's out of sight, it's hidden. The thing that comes to my mind is proximity. You know, if I'm standing on one side of the door and the bad guy's standing on the other side of the door, things are going to happen fast and they're going to happen violently the second that I begin to crack that door open. He can just force his way in. Maybe I get bumped by the door. pushed me back, maybe I dropped the gun. There's all kinds of bad things that can happen. And even if I don't drop the gun and I ready up because I know what's happening, I know it's a home invasion, well, now we're at point blank range. So we're basically at arm's length or just outside of arm's length. I don't want to have a gunfight at that distance. If I have to have a gunfight, I'd rather be back several yards looking at that front door than I have distance. Distance is my friend because bad guys, they don't shoot so well at longer distances. If I did the work and I spent just a couple of dollars replacing the shorter screws in the deadbolt catch with 3-inch long screws, then I've purchased time. That time is going to allow me to just walk back to whatever point of domination that I want to be in once the unjust aggressor starts kicking on the door. Short screws versus long screws, well, it's the difference between one kick and he's in, or perhaps 1 to 2 dozen kicks. Maybe he don't get in at all and he just gives up and goes away. Also, my primary concern is not about me. It's about protecting my family. It's about removing opportunities for the bad guy to get access to my family, lowering my family's exposure, lowering my family's vulnerabilities. That's what it's about. Now, there's been instances where somebody was at the front door asking for help after dark. So I went outside through another door, through a side door, or by a back door. Yes, I was concealed carry at the time, but by using that other door, that provided me with surprise. Most of the time after dark, I'm just going to call the police and let them handle it. But never say never, and there have been occasions, albeit rare, where I decide to go out. If I choose to go outside, it's going to be by another door. It's going to be a surprise. So if there are people stacked up, just out of my line of sight, around the corner waiting to come in with the person that's knocking on the door, well, I'm going to catch them from behind or from an angle that they don't expect. That's a good thing. While I did it, I told my family what I was going to do. I told them I'm locking the door behind me and I don't have any keys on me to let myself back in. But I'm not going to ask to be let back in if something nefarious is happening and I get out there and I start losing. Now, I'm always planning on winning any and every fight that I can't avoid, but I'm also unwilling, whenever I can help it, I'm unwilling to let my ego or my pride be the reason that my family becomes vulnerable to an unjust criminal aggressor. If I take on the risk of going outside, then I've assumed that risk. It is in this way that I can reduce or even eliminate risks to my family. It's my experience through law enforcement that once a criminal becomes involved in a shooting, whether he unjustly murders his victim or he loses his composure because things begin to not go his way according to his expectations, well, he's going to flee the scene, providing he's still able-bodied to do so. He's going to flee the scene to avoid legal consequences or because he wants to save himself. Before going outside, I also ensured at least one family member who has been properly trained was well armed. Why? Well, just in case things do go badly when I'm outside. And that rare circumstance where the bad guys have it in their mind that they're going to continue to breach my home while presenting an imminent deadly force threat. They will experience more bad news upon making entry. If for any reason, and I don't care what the reason is, if for any reason you don't feel comfortable opening the door, just tell them. Leave it on the porch. If they take it back with them, they take it back with them. Who cares?